Hello and welcome to the newest segment here on Dropping Loads. I'm Vest Guy, and this is Vest Top 5, a segment where we sum up TV shows, movies into a top 5 list. For this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Jackie Chan, an actor, martial artist whose career spanned 50 years. It's insane how many films he's done over the years. A lot of them are great films. He may have had clunkers here and there, but most of them are great films. So we're going to be summing up all his films into a top 5 list. His best films. Keep in mind this list is an opinion. I will not be including any of his American films, and I know this hurts, but I'm not including the Jackie Chan Adventure Show. I love that show when I was a kid, but I'm not including it on this list. So,
Show sucked.
no, it didn't. It was a great show. Number 5 is a film that he released in 1998. It was not an American film, even though it was released in the States much later on in 1999. The film is called Gorgeous. It's one of the few films that Jackie Chan did not dub as another actor's voice. If you can look past that, you're going to have a great time with this film. The plot is not really essential to this film. It's really mostly the action sequence that takes place in this film. He has some great choreography in this film. Specifically, the last act of this film has the sequence where he's fighting an American or Canadian actor who's part of the stunt team. The sequence goes for 10 minutes. The story itself is basically he falls in love with this girl who comes from Hong Kong. The story is very simple. It's supposed to be romantic. Not very romantic, as most of the action sequences are very, very cool in this film. For number 4. Number 4 is a film that he did around the same time. Also was released in America the following year, and that movie is Who Am I? In Who Am I, Jackie Chan plays a special secret agent who loses his memory after falling from a helicopter and injuring himself. In the process, loses his memory, doesn't know who he is, and he befriends a reporter who is also helping him trying to find who framed him, how he lost his memory. This film's plot, again, is not that important. It's mostly the action sequences, like it is in most of his films. Very entertaining, high-paced action sequences, cool editing sequences, and it also has a really cool sequence where Jackie Chan is on top of a roof, and that sequence also goes on for at least 8 minutes. For number 3 is a film that he did in Canada. Jackie Chan had a hard time breaking into the American market, so he tried breaking into the Canadian market with a film called Rumble in the Bronx. A lot of people would include this film on the top 10 list of best martial arts films. This is a great film that still stands up today as one of the best action comedy films. While more brutal than some of his other films, this movie has not only some great action sequences, but it also has some pretty good acting chops from Jackie Chan, which he will later, I don't want to say improve, but harden with time and age in his later films like he did in Asia. For number 2, it's a movie that, curious enough, is released here in the States as a sequel when in fact was a prequel. The movie is called Armor of the Gods. In the States, here it's known as Operation Condor 2 Armor of the Gods. I don't know why they decided to call it a sequel when in fact it's not really related to the original Operation Condor. Even though both of them are action-adventure films reminiscent of James Bond and Indiana Jones, they're completely unrelated to one another. Armor of the Gods has some of the best action sequences that I've ever seen in any action film, not just a Jackie Chan film. The movie is basically like an Indiana Jones kind of ripoff, I'll take that, but the movie is also notorious for having Jackie Chan breaking a lot of bones, and actually he broke his skull in this film and he had to suspend shooting for a long time. When you watch the film, if you watch the beginning, you can tell Jackie Chan has a lot of really short hair versus the rest of the film where he has long hair, because he had to cut his hair due to the big injury that he got after he fell into a tree. You can see the sequence where he got injured at the end of the film, the credits. For number 1, there's a lot of movies that I would have put here number 1, but I chose this one specifically because not only does it have some of the best action sequences, it also has one of the best stories in his career, and that film is called Police Story. Police Story was Jackie Chan's answer to an American film that he made the same year, actually, called The Protector. The Protector was a box office failure. Jackie Chan did not like that film. To this day, he doesn't like this film. He will not do autographs for that movie. And he re-edited it for the Hong Kong release, but he still wasn't really happy with it, so he ended up making his own version known as Police Story. The film follows Jackie Chan going through getting rid of criminals and all this stuff. Very simple plot, but it has a lot of good acting from him, and it has this amazing sequence where Jackie Chan jumps from the top of a mall down a pole that has electrical lights all over it, and he actually broke all the skin in his hands, and he's still alive. This guy does so much crazy stunts, and I can barely jog a mile. It's insane, and he's 63, and he's still doing crazy stunts to this day. But definitely watch this film, not only for the crazy stunts, but a lot of the good action sequences and the story. So that was Jackie Chan's top 5 films. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your top 5 Jackie Chan films? or any other martial arts films for that matter. Please click the like button and subscribe. I'm Vest Guy, and this was Vest Top 5. See you next time. I'm Vest Guy, and this is Top Vest. Fucking piece of shit. Me cago en la madre que lo parió. Okay, so it's